Hello and welcome back. We're going to do 2019 free response question 4, part C. So recall we're talking about a cylindrical barrel, has a diameter of 2 feet. We know that the rate of change of the height is given. I'm not going to read it all, you can watch the previous videos. And we know the volume is given by this formula. In part C, we're told that time equals 0 seconds. The height of the water is 5 feet, so that's an initial position. So I'm going to use, we could use x of 0 or h of 0. H of 0 is equal to 5. It says use separation of variables to find the expression for h in terms of t, which means we're going to separate, integrate, solve for c. Celebrate, don't cry, solve for y. In this case, we're solving for h. Solve for h. So we're going to take our differential, dh dt, which is equal to negative 1/10 times the square root of h. I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to say I have dh is equal to negative 1/10 times the square root of h dt. I'm going to divide by the square root of h. So I would end up with 1 over the square root of h dh is equal to negative 1/10 dt, which means I would get a point here for separating. Now I have to integrate it, so I'm going to rewrite the left integral as h to the negative 1/2 dh is equal to negative 1/10 dt. Now I'm ready to integrate. I separated, now I integrate. Separate, integrate. So if I find the correct antiderivatives, I earn another point, maybe 2. This will be h to the 1/2, add 1 to your power, so add a degree, divide by the degree. So if I divide by 1/2, it means multiply by 2, is equal to negative 1/10 t plus c. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my initial condition and try and find c. So I would have 2 times 5 to the 1/2 is equal to negative 1/10 times 0 plus c. I'm just showing all the steps, which means I'd have 2 times the square root of 5 is equal to c. Woohoo! We celebrate, we replace c. We earn most our points. So we have 2h to the 1/2 is equal to negative 1/10 times t plus c, which is 2 root 5. Our goal is to solve for h, so I'm going to divide by 2. This means I get h to the 1/2. Half of 1/10 is 1/20th, so I get negative 1 over 20t plus 2 root 5 divided by 2 is root 5. Now to get rid of that 1/2 power, I'm going to square both sides. I'm just going to show it. You don't have to show it, which means h is equal to negative 1 over 20 times t plus root 5, this whole quantity squared. And if you want, you could say that h is h of t because the function is in terms of t, and that, my friends, is h in terms of t. Let's check out the rubric, which I still have circled from earlier. You get 1 point for separation of variables. Woohoo! Let me show you. 1 point for separation of variables, meaning dh is with h, dt would be with t, but there is no value of t. You get 1 point for getting both the antiderivatives. You get 1 point for finding the constant of variation and using it. And then you get 1 point for finding h of t. Make sure that you're separating variables, otherwise you don't get any points. And make sure you're finding the constant of integration. Otherwise, if you forget that plus c, the max you're going to get, even if you get it all right, is 2 points. So keep your work nice and clean. Don't forget to add that plus c.